Go.
What's going on, New Gaming Order? We are back for our next segment. Now, again, like I said, I don't have web links. I just took notes so that we can generate research while we're discussing it. But I wanted to talk about one of the flaws with the Xbox One backwards compatibility update. Now, it's a great thing, and I'm going to let you guys know that Microsoft does indeed have the capability to make the entire 360 library playable today. But the problem is the studios. Now, I want to direct you guys to the Red Dragon. He actually did a piece on this where you have Red Dead Redemption, right? They can make it backwards compatible actually yesterday. But they're reaching out to the studio to say, hey, you know what? We want to make the game backwards compatible, and Rocksteady is the holdup. Now, I'm trying to understand. I know that there was a license to have these games on the 360, right? But now, you know, if it's like just backwards compatible, if you remember when the 360 was doing backwards compatibility with the original Xbox Green, it was just doing it in waves or whatever just for compatibility. But Microsoft has found a way to make the framework boot up in the X1, and it can do everything. I think that Microsoft failed in anticipating that, hey, you know what? We shouldn't have. I think if you're going to release something, release it right. Okay? Yes, it's great that we have it. You know, a lot of titles will be coming out in waves every month. You know, they're doing the trickle effect. But I think that the whole thing with the studios holding up, you know, backwards compatibility, like for instance, there's certain games like Halo Reach that should have been out there. Red Dead Redemption. You know, I'm even concerned about Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A lot of those big titles that you know people will start to migrate. Call of Duty, things like that. It's like, okay, you have the capability to do it, but the studios are the flaw. They're the reasons why all this stuff isn't, you know, more readily available. Is it something where now, like for instance, talking about Street Fighter 4, we already know Microsoft and Capcom entered that partnership, right? But think about it. If they just say, hey, open up the floodgates, hey, go ahead and make our stuff backwards compatible, and you have those titles digitally available, hey, put it at a budget price, $20, do like Steam, do whatever sales, they'll make more money off of older IPs. Like, you'll get new people purchasing their stuff. I don't know. But shout out to the Red Dragon for pointing this out. But I just wanted to know what everybody thought. I mean, Microsoft did fail with this. They succeeded and failed at the same time. I think it should have been thought out a little bit better. And it should have been best anticipated to say, hey, you know what? We can do this. We can make this. It's a simple process to put the games through the program. And now it's shuttering. You know what I mean? It's like a car that needs a tune-up. It's struggling to get there. But once you fix it up, it's going to be a thing of beauty. So I wanted to start with Shinwar. What do you think about, you know, the backwards compatibility program having this minor hiccup in the process?
So it's pretty much based off of the developer, right?
Yep, the studio.
Yeah, the studio. I mean, it would be cool if it wasn't up to them. You know, it's free reign, but just imagine all those titles, you know, would be backwards compatible on Xbox One. In particular, you know, Ultra Street Fighter 4, which would be great. But just think about the issue that Sony would have, like, oh wow, now Ultra's on the Xbox One per se. So yeah, but you know, it's definitely a hiccup, and sooner or later, you know, we'll get, you know, a lot more titles. Hopefully, we get the entire library. That would be great. So, all right, sir.
Okay. Shin Takuma, what are your thoughts?
His mic is muted. Hopefully he knows that.
Okay, well, while he gets that together, on your knees, what are your thoughts on, you know, studio developers who could potentially make more money offer older titles. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, hell, this will be a kick in the teeth to GameStop. You know what I mean? Because you can take away GameStop making triple the revenue on one title by just allowing the games to be sold digitally, and you're good to go. Your thoughts?
Well, they want people to buy the new IP, so they're not going to release their old IP. And I also
I didn't think about that. Yes.
It also could be another factor where they don't think they'll make enough money because this probably will require some financial support on their part, and they don't feel it's worth the investment. That's
support as in like online servers or stuff.
No, just they'll have to pay Microsoft to make these titles available.
No, Microsoft said they don't have to do anything.
Well, no, they say one thing, but who the fuck knows? But more than likely, they don't feel it's worth their time because they either have to supply money or manpower to make these things happen.
Well, Microsoft handles all of it. The studios have nothing to do with the backwards compatibility. It's all Microsoft. They're the ones that key it in so that it works with that framework emulator that makes it work.
Well, why don't you go right to the game studios, ask them why they're not joining into Microsoft's program, see what they say about it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of trying to pay free money.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that there's something else Microsoft isn't saying, because if Microsoft's doing all the work, why wouldn't they get on it, especially when it's free money?
Okay, that's a fair question.
There's something else at play that's preventing them from getting in, or they just don't want to deal with Microsoft, because there's probably all sorts of restrictions. Maybe Microsoft wants too big of a cut from these games.
Okay, that's those are good speculations, so that everybody knows that, hey, we're not being biased. Like, hey, Microsoft could be at fault. You know what I mean? They made a lot of mistakes with the DRM and all that, so they're known to be fucking up here and there. So, with that being said, cousin, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't have an.
Oh yeah, I already know your stand on it, but
I mean, listen, I think it's great for Xbox that they have it. I mean, that's all I can say. It's a good thing to have. I understand that there's those, like Chris was saying, that Microsoft does have some sneaky things in the back end when they're talking about, oh no, it's all developers.
You know what? I actually have something here. I know how much Microsoft wants per game.
$599 US.
Unbelievable. I'm back. Sorry.
So,
all right, yeah, we're still moving on.
So I mean, yeah, let me not waste a lot of time. I don't have an Xbox. I have the Xbox app on my PC, so I'm just waiting for the games to be available in 3 years. So, no comment, kinda, but I'm glad that you guys actually have that. It's pretty cool. You needed it.
All right, cool. All right, Khalif, what are your thoughts on the little hiccup with the backwards compatibility in terms of the studios? Because one thing I forgot to mention, Microsoft was reaching out to Rocksteady and they're not getting a response.
What?
So
I thought wasn't Red Dead, wasn't that Rockstar?
I think I wrote it. Yeah, Rockstar. I'm sorry.
It's Rockstar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wrote it wrong.
Oh, Rockstar's a completely different beast. They don't need Microsoft's money. They want people buying their new shit. So I'll go back to that argument.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Khalif, what are your thoughts on
Yeah, I pretty much think that Microsoft is not putting out the whole story there because, again, just like what was said earlier, like if it was in fact that easy to just let them, just let them have, access to the games on Xbox One, I don't understand why all games are compatible because they be making the money. They, it just doesn't make sense. There's more. I think there's something going on behind the scenes, but maybe there's not. But I mean, all in all, just like I said back when it was announced with the backwards compatibility, I think it's great. I think it will sell some consoles. I mean, once it gets to the point where more and more games like Red Dead, become compatible, I think it'll move some consoles. As weird as that sounds, it may move some consoles because people, just want it now. I think people really want it now because they can't do it. Once they can do it, it's gonna just die down. And it's gonna now we can do it. Now who cares? Where's a new game? So, but I still think it shits on any other, backwards compatible thing that PlayStation is trying to do. PlayStation Now is a joke. It's a failure pretty much. You know, and even with this PS2, PS1 emulation that's being rumored right now, that is great, but it's still not on the level of what Xbox One is doing, because you can actually put the physical disc in the console versus it being all digital on PlayStation, if this is real. You know, so it's still a better option than any other thing that PlayStation has, and I mean, it's one more feature that, you know, Xbox has that PlayStation doesn't. So they need to get it together and do whatever they need to do to get more games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're coming. You know, like I think they kind of gave like a preview list that I'll put in the description for our YouTube audience. But it's just, I just don't understand. Like you said, there's something has to be up, or if Microsoft's not giving the whole story, that's one thing. If it's a new license or a new set of parameters that each studio might have to, you know, put in for, that could be another thing too.
Let me ask y'all. Everybody in the room has an Xbox One right now.
Mm-hmm.
Has any of y'all really been hype about this? Like playing old games? Seriously though?
I play old games all the time.
I got 3 so far. I'm just waiting for the rest to fall.
Here's the thing, like there are certain titles I didn't finish on 360, and I would like them to come over so that, yeah, you know, I'm not going between two consoles, you know, and it expands the library, because some of the 360 games still hold up today.
So,
you know?
I mean, I'm not.
And the PS3
arguing.
games, still hold up today, but unfortunately,
Ace Combat.
Nobody wanted to admit this, but Sony did mess up with the cell processor. That's the only reason why it's not backwards compatible, or the PS4, because it's too hard to emulate that. You know what I mean?
I was just curious to see, like, of the people that already have the console, how interested you guys are in backwards compatible, because I understand people that don't have an Xbox One right now, that would drive them to get it. But I mean, I've had it, and I downloaded my full game stuff, but I still haven't gotten around to playing. It's cool, like I said. It was like, man, I can't wait for this feature to come out. I'm gonna play Shadow Complex again. I'm gonna play, you know, whatever, all the other old games. I got it. I'm like, okay, and it's just sitting there again. So I was just curious to see how y'all was doing it.
I would say it's like this, you know, like there was a, you know, the two YouTubers who are supposed to be on tonight to debate me, where, you know, a lot of folks are saying, well, it's not a big deal, but if it popped up on the competitors thing, it'd be the best thing since sliced bread. But it's
I don't think that people are arguing that. I think that the people that are arguing that are just saying that because they are saying what a lot of other people are saying. Well, why do you want to play old games on the new system? I think that's why they're saying that it's not a big deal. I think
too is the fact that some people didn't get to play some titles. Now they have the chance to, and play
that's what I'm saying. I think that the way that you're looking at it and the way that they're looking at it are two different ways. Like, you're looking at it as if, like, this is a big deal for the people that don't have the system, and for the good of Xbox in general.
And the stragglers too.
Exactly. They're looking at it. They're looking at it as is, I already have the console. Why do I care about playing old games? That's why they're saying it's not a big deal. So
what it boils down to at this point is this opinion. Like, you know,
of course.
But some people have great games to play. Like, okay, you got Lords of Shadow 2, you got Metal Gear Rising, you got freaking Halo Reach. There's a lot of AAA titles that deserve to thrive and live on. You know what I mean? Especially a lot of the titles that came out at the end of the 360's life cycle, where some people just say, screw it, I'm moving on to X1. I think those should have had first crack at backwards compatibility, so that, hey, you know what? The studios who put all the time and effort into creating that don't get cut off from revenue. You know? I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. Like, if the ones who say, why would you want to play old games? And if you're not going to buy it, it doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. Let the ones that will benefit from it enjoy it. That's my
But
my philosophy on it.
The problem that I'm starting to have though about that is that a lot of those people that are saying that it's really really great to have the backwards compatibility with the same people that were shitting on like remasters and stuff. Like I feel like that the only reason why I would really even be interested in playing an old game is if there was some new, if it was remastered, if it looked better, if there was something new to it. So you know, like with if the backwards compatibility enhanced the games in some shape, you know, in some form, then that would be even better for me. But knowing that the games are exactly the same the way they were, me personally, it doesn't really entice me anymore because it's just like it's the same game that I've already played.
Well, and another thing too, with this backwards compatibility option, it'll eliminate the need to do as many remasters. Hey, just go play the game. I'm not gonna do a remaster. It's cheaper. You know, so with that being said, a lot of it's just, again, some people are for it, some people are against it. I don't understand why people wouldn't be excited where the library is almost now doubled. Potentially. You know what I mean? There's just more to play. What's wrong with that?
You can't deny that impact. That is a great feature to have. No matter what, even if you don't plan to use it, it's a feature that you would want to have.
Okay. Now, with that being said, Nelson, what are your thoughts? I didn't skip anybody. Takuma didn't go. All right, Takuma, what are your thoughts on? I don't know what you heard so far, but
I was on the phone.
Okay, with that, like, because it's going a little longer than I
know we talk about backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
it
was a
hold up of one. Who was it? The one company was holding everything up. Who was it?
Well, it was
Rockstar.
Rockstar. Oh, for Red Dead Redemption. That's one of many studios. But is this something where there's a holdup? You know, and I don't think Microsoft fully fleshed that out. I think they rushed it and said, "Hey, holiday season," just like Halo 5 Guardians got rushed, and there's some problems with it, story-wise.
Some problems.
Yeah. You know, it is what it is. I already admitted to that and say, hey, you know, Halo 5 got rushed. Me and Noop are going to do the review and really cut into that. I mean, this is a fun game, but
look, if it's one company holding up, well, like one game or two games or three, or like a Pacific game, but you got the others that's not holding up, you know what? Fine. Come back to them when they're ready. Do everything else. Do all the other games that people want to become backwards compatible.
Okay. What? Takuma, you finished your point? You were cutting out.
Yo, he has severe mic issues.
Alright. For the sake of time, like, Takuma's mic went out.
Takuma, just stop talking because your mic is going in and out.
Yeah, we'll get that fixed during the intermission. But Nelson, to round this out, what are your thoughts?
Let me see. It was a lot said. To answer Khalif's statement, no, I was not excited about backwards compatibility because I already have a 360. There's no need for me to have double the same exact content that I already own. So, needless to say, the point is this a big hit for the company? Yes and no. Yes, because it gives you double the content, as you did state before. And no, because let's just say, for an example, I don't know if this is factual, but let's say they're putting all their staff, right, working on just the backwards compatibility. Where's the priority and the main stuff that's supposed to be coming out for the one now? Is there any priority towards that now, or are they just specifically focused on backwards compatibility? That's what I hope.
They have a dedicated team for that. I think it's like,
I hope so. I hope so, because I don't want to see something where people is thriving on the fact that backwards compatibility is now here, and that's all that's like cared about as like the brand new feature. I would still like for the same treatment and the same care to be done for the regular games, whether if it's on the PlayStation, if they do get it, or, you know, continuing on with the Xbox. Because again, like, I don't see the need for me to have a backwards compatibility list on my Xbox One, unless if like one of my friends come over and they bullshit around. I guess that's a use for them. But in a sense, for me, I haven't played an old game unless it feels on the PlayStation. I have no need. Well, Nintendo I haven't really touched too much because I just acquired a Wii U, so I haven't bought anything backwards compatible yet. But yeah, it's a hit and a miss. I'll say it like that. I'm not saying like it's 100% is the best thing that's ever happened, but it does have its good and bad points, and I just wish them the best in getting all these licenses that they supposedly say that they need. And if it's a license issue, you guys need to be a little bit more stronger on making this happen, because now, let's look at it from this point. You sold a lot of people to get a brand new Xbox One because you guaranteed backwards compatibility within hopefully the next 2 years it'll be complete. If you can't deliver on that, not only did you make them possibly sell their 360 and their games that they could have had still had, but you basically gave false information and you didn't come through with your promise. That's why you never say something. Never say something that you can't do. I always say that to people. So if you're gonna cut real short and only have like maybe, I'll give you a rough estimate, like 400 titles, and they're nothing that anyone wants, you're gonna see a backlash. Tremendous backlash.
And with that being said, like, New Gaming Order audience, it's like, you see, it's kind of polarized where some care for it, some don't. But I think that I speak for a majority of the group that do want it. It's a good thing because there's some titles that I wanted to play, I just didn't get to. And now I have the opportunity to do that with extra features where I can stream it from the box, where I can do record that and take snapshots and things of that nature. It just adds features while removing the peripherals. Like one thing that they didn't mention, you can't use the Kinect for like Dance Central. You can't use the steering wheel for like the Forza and so on and so forth. So that's one thing you gotta be careful of. So if there's something that has like, you know, Samba de Amigo like on Dreamcast and it needs a peripheral, you will not be able to use it. It's just backward compatibility, bone dry. They're trying to maximize the performance of the application. So with that being said, we're gonna bring this segment to a close. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on the Newgamingorder.com. Shout out to our partner, Full Screen, for helping us with viewership. And a shameless plug, not shameless, but check out Golden Child Images with Mr. Anthony Palmer out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, for your photography needs. With that being said, we're going to go into intermission. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.